I got to sit down and speak to them. Jacob as well. I think they've really been drilling on down the kind of the strategic element into them. So as players, I do think CAZ have a lot of potential, and they have been a solid team to watch throughout the league.
Yep.
Whether they have the might to come up against Endpoint, that's a whole different question. Because for me, it's actually Jess one of the players that sits out on this. Not only
Jess
Max,
has really changed the.
Jess has really brought something different to the lineup. He's almost the Karrigan effect. We talk about FaZe quite a lot.
Yep.
Look at how Karrigan has revitalized that roster and been the almost commanding five to kickstart to where they are now. It's the same sort of style for Endpoint. As much as Jess may not be this leader, he's still a player.
It's not just about that. Yeah.
So.
Jess also sets up on the phase. Speaking to Lazar as well, having the AWP. As an AWPer, you're told, oh, you can pick whatever you want, you can do whatever you want, go any part of the map whenever you want. The problem is, though, you need support. At certain times, you've got Taco helping Fallen. In this scenario, you've got Jess helping Lazar. And speaking to him, he says that Jess constantly asks Lazar, do you need a flash? Do you want me to hold this angle? Do you want me to hold your, for example, Mirage contacts? The AWPer peeks towards the site, you've got to have that player behind you holding your stairs push. All those crucial angles. But we are going live into this one. CAZ staying on the CT side. It's actually CAZ's map pick, so they are starting on the favoured side, on their favoured map. Dream with the smoking kit as well. See if he uses that early or decides to keep that for the smoke diffuse. But going to this first one, we're looking at quite a slow start from Endpoint. Not rushing anywhere. No rush towards B, no rush towards Ivy. But I believe that's Imi that's currently heading towards Ivy. And his job right now is to create a distraction, allow the players to come up, pop dog on team main. It's Mighty Max, I apologise there, but distraction, try and backstab these players on A.
Just building up a bit of a gentle tide at this point for the T side. It's all about patience. Once they find their initial pick, that'll be the biting point. That'll be when they begin to push on forward, and the tidal wave of that will begin to force itself amongst the wreckage. Dream still going to be left there, just trying to cut down Mighty Max. CSGO, though, he has already gone out. He's looking to go for this one, and here things will go. Should we say it's Imi, the headshot on towards MCK. Dream still looking to respond, but it's going to be all but responses at this point as the bomb is going to go down. Ozzy will find a return finally, but it's going to be a bit too late. Just very crisp into towards connector. And still left standing. Ezio just another to build on up, and this is looking perfect from Endpoint. What a way to start the show.
Such a good crossfire.
Well, hits the deck and the crossfire. Well, that's the talking point in itself.
So hard for those CT players to get out connector. Obviously, you've got Jesper on one side, another one of those Endpoint players on the other. As they do come out, they are facing players from each angle. Good talk as well. That smoke towards Ivy was really, really strong. It blocked off those two players that are playing there. And they had to funnel back and retake from angles that weren't really favoured. And actually, those Endpoint players were set up in such good positions that they did win the after plant. And they do take that crucial first round on the T side. And CAZ obviously opting out for some sort of force. No armor on three of those players, which means they're going to be opting in for those nades. So they're not really going into this round with not too much confidence to win it. It's more so about the first buy round, having the Molotovs, having the smokes, and the flashes to hold off those pushes and keep map control that way.
Well, the win for CAZ has almost been a bit reversal on the usual win condition, because as much as you'd usually be playing for a round win, for them, arguably it's just about doing damage now. That's their kind of best case scenario. See, okay, can we get 2 picks onto a Endpoint, drop a UMP, you know, ideal case drop
hopefully
a rifle.
an AK, yeah.
You can hope, but you know, just looking at them and going, okay, they've got 3 UMPs. It's going to be a tough one. We are seeing Endpoint just well and truly bulk up for the most part, a 3-2 split. Setting themselves up to just collapse on towards this A site in terms of response from CAZ. Unfortunately, the stack, well, it's all but on the B site with just one man. Jacob sitting in towards Popdog, and his position, well, basically stuck on the lopsided end of a push, because that range doesn't really play into the hands of a P250.
Luz has got 30,000 kills on that AK. That's a lot of DM and a lot of time put into that rifle. Now Jacob towards Popdog. The flash comes out. Will he be able to catch Ezio off guard? They have actually smoked off Pop. That's really, really smart there. They expected the push from the CTs, knowing they're on pistols. First frag goes in favour of Ezio. That's $600 for him as Jacob falls. Another retake. This might be a safe. If the players have armor, try and save that. If you MCK or Dream, they try and take a gun out of the T's hands, try and whittle down that economy. But for now, the bomb and 5 players are alive for Endpoint. So this is the start of a very good half, potentially, for them if they can keep the momentum rolling in their favour.
It's all about just keeping that ball rolling on through and not allowing CAZ to begin to overcome them as they go straight on through what will be that buy round, which is, you know, arguably for CAZ, that buy round is the hot point for them right now if they can shut them down. But what happens if they don't shut them down? Let's talk about theoretics, because Endpoint, they have started to build up money. They're being very, very clean in their approach as well. We talked about whether they'd be able to take down a rifle. They've done as they expected. They've only lost a single UMP, and they're getting
It's
kills.
not quite a rifle, though.
Exactly. The value is somewhat diminishing, because now Imi can buy up a rifle, and you know, if I was to tell you, would you prefer 3 UMPs and 2 rifles, or 3 AKs and 2 UMPs? I think I know what you're going to say.
Well, actually no, because you're playing versus pistols, I'd probably say the SMGs are probably better just to stack up the money and try and bring in as many of those $600 kills as you can. But so though, Endpoint will get the 3-0 unless something crazy happens this round of Aussie on that UMP. But we are potentially looking at the 3-0. Very strong start for Endpoint. If they do win that first gun round as well, and CAZ are already low on money, we could be potentially seeing a 5-0 lead for Endpoint. So it's a lot of pressure for CAZ on this first buy round, because they need to start getting the rounds going in their favour. The biggest problem is that even if they do win those rounds consecutively, Endpoint's money is going to be so strong. Having the bomb down and so many players alive, CAZ really having to put up a fight now.
Need to see some sort of damage at least from CAZ if they want to have any chance of looking at a positive side of economy for the spin of Endpoint, as we are looking at T-side begin to yet again bundle themselves up. They just a package ready to be unfurled upon a site, one that is certainly left to be a strewn bloodbath as the B site, looking like it is going to be just that 3-man stack for the B side. A lot of potential, but Jacob should be the first to fall, and eventually is going to be the case. A quick 3 to be found overall. Bit by bit, CT's hopes and dreams of damage seem to be collapsing on away yet again as MCK and Roma kind of away from the action, and MCK actually just going to be running on away, which for MCK not necessarily the biggest of deals. He's only got a Deagle, but Roma with the Kevlar, that actually does have a lot of value.
Yeah, what also adds value is both of these SMGs on the Endpoint side did find frags. So the money is going to be strong. Roma trying to get a kill on one of these players and try and take out potentially a $2,000, $3,000 investment for one of these T's players, but instead he shall find nothing and will save the Kevlar. It's $1,000 even saved in his pocket.
This is the point that I'm referring to now. As much as I know that you wanted the UMPs to make the money against the pistols, when you always play the long game, the fact that Endpoint have been able to yet again be clean and almost surgical in their approach.
Oh yeah, their money's strong.
Even though they have the option to take the risk and go into this still with 2 UMPs, their money's so strong that they can almost, you can say, afford that. Yeah,
they can. They can swap out the SMGs for AKs, but they will stick on to have 2 of these SMGs. Lazar on the AK-47, the AWP not brought out just yet. We're going to see 2 AWPs on the CT side. Will we have one go towards B, one towards A, or will we have the one connector, one green train? Jacob with his AWP, connector holding team main. Pretty standard. And then Dream as well towards that green train position. Roma, we saw him do this yesterday. He's pulling through information. Once he sees him, potentially through in the volley if they're rushing. He spots 1, that's all he needs to see. As he will not throw that molly just yet. And now where the T's are, they can set up smokes, flash connector, flash out. This smoke heaven will block off vision if there isn't AWP watching him. This means now he can jump out and take the duels with Roma on site.
Jacob getting that first pick on towards Max is the ideal way to keep things off. This is all just a bit of a treat, or can he actually keep it going as Roma goes towards a site, as you mentioned, still just almost lurking in the shadows, being the man right in the back lines, but in this case it's about him pushing on through. He tries to catch Lazar, but nothing will work as Lazar is going to be the man to punish. Ezio finding just another, and bit by bit that bomb begins to tick. On the CT side, they have to retake. Flashes are yet again going to find themselves a bursting. Aussie going to be going towards the old train, finds himself that frag on towards Ezio, looking for the quick second now on towards the bomb train, but Jess, yet again, able to shut them down as they're taking the double peek. It's going to net them just another. MCK finally going to be in response.
Oh, that molly's it.
The molly going down. Sheer manpower alone, a 1v2. Lazar is 9 HP, but, well, they say a man can trade, and that right there is what Endpoint have just done. They get themselves to a point so workable and so diminishing for the CT side that MCK, he will get away, and with an AWP, some merit to him for certainly a substantial save. But at the end of the day, it's still Endpoint paving the way forward.
Just imagine if Roma had a flash there, right outside of that smoke. If he had flashed through that, potentially killed Lazar, we could be seeing a very different round. But as I mentioned before, the 4-0 has come out. CAZ's money. They could force with the AWP, but the problem is, I believe they should just go for the quasi-buy.
I mean, what do they do with the AWP in this situation, right? Because you've got Dream sitting there kind of going,
push
okay,
Ivy.
I've got an AWP, but what? The team can't support it.
Personally, I'd push Ivy. If I see nothing Ivy, I'd go towards B. Or you can just play more default and hold towards connector, but Lazar facing with the AWP. Actually see Water that hold that angle very often. But just trying to spot out where a player is, sees that player on top of green train, jumps on top of those wooden pallets and faces, but I don't think enough about Lazar. Here it is, MCK gets 1, gets a second as well, but traded up by Ezio. Ezio needs to find another one here, it's going to be Emmy. In fact, as it does make that the 3 versus 3 and no armor on any of these players on the CT side. I mean, this is going to be very difficult unless Roma can catch one of these players off guard. Hesitant to go through the smoke, however, which means, in my books right now, Dream really should be thinking about saving unless Ozzy can find the backstab on 2. Finds 1. Lazar needs to turn around, he doesn't see him! Lazar does get the frag.
Oh, it's almost a clinching. No idea how he even gets away with that. Dream is going to find one in return. Roma goes up close and aggressive, takes down Ezio and Endpoint. Not like this.
That's why they can't find the bomb though.
Guys?
No way. They have it. But still, that's pretty crazy.
That was... I mean, you're in the playoffs of the UK Masters. You can't...
This is... Yeah, they have that.
A couple of seconds more. and we could have been seeing
That's a
something
good plant, to be
completely
fair. That is a good plant. When the pressure's on, obviously it's a lot harder to see the tiny details. But anyway, CAZ getting that one round, and the money still decently strong on Endpoint side. If they lose this, they can still buy into the next. Luz will have the AWP and the full utility. We saw him peek towards Connector and holding that Connector push if any of those players go towards Electric. We might be seeing MCK play Electric again, as it did net him 2 frags in that previous round. Smoke coming up from Jesp. Let's see where this will go. Potentially Connector. Maybe trying to smoke off on AWP there to allow those T players to get out T main. Right now it's going to be Dream playing aggressive, and the information you might gather here could be so important for CAZ's side right now. Will Imi peek towards him? So far, not too much. And he can hold this angle now. You can see Roma has already left B. And now there's going to be one more player on this A-bomb site as attack does come in.
This is complete yet again to storm out on towards that site, straight through a smoke, and they get a little bit stuck. But look at Jacob's position. He gets in such a huge spot at this point, has so much information to work with, doesn't quite have that clear line of fire. He should be able to deny this plant, but he's not quite shooting. He's just sitting behind Levi. He lets it happen, and he's going to punish him. A double kill for him. Roma, the bird down from above, finally lands that shot, and is it going to be enough to pull the CT side through? Jets with 7 HP, but they're still quite landing the shots. Jets not going to be punished by the Molotov, not going to be forced out of position. Jacob eventually going to swing around towards that blue train. But the CT side, they have to go up closer. First of all, but Max, he kills himself.
He ran into his own Molotov. I'm not too sure what happened there. Maybe he just threw it and hit the wall. Not too sure what happened there, but Lazo in the 1 versus 2 doesn't quite have the angles he needs. I mean, there's no flashes as well. I'm not too sure where Lazo was looking, but the man of the round there was Ezio. They still lost the round, even though Ezio found 2 of those frags in that one spray. Jake, I'm not too sure what's going on there. So much clutter with all the smokes going around. Couldn't quite find out where the bomb was being planted. Shot, below the bomb site. It feels as though T's were planted on the bomb site, sorry. Anyway, CAZ find their second, and it's going to be the final buy from Endpoint here.
It's been such a weird match of Counter-Strike so far. We've had some mistakes across the board. But both of these teams, they need to patch a hole. They can't just become a sinking ship. Because at the end of the day, this first map, well, pretty much sets in stone how this BO3 can begin, and gives them almost that left side of a restless eye going to the second. As the clock is going to begin to work its way down, but Endpoint still not sure what they're going to do.
Right now, Loza is on an island in team main all alone, so he can't really get too aggressive. Holding on top of those trains, I believe, but anyway, flashes come through to the A-bomb side. This is not going to be a fake. They are going towards A. Let's see if anything can change. The same smokes, the same setup. They thought, it worked one round, let's try and do it again. MCK going towards heaven, though. Can he spot out the player with the bomb? Actually, no. Mighty Max nails him through the window there. And this is the problem when the retake comes in. He's still got Roma on that B-bomb side, but Jacob through the smoke finds Ezio. Can't quite get any more. It's Ezio in the last round that found those 2 crucial frags, but this time Jacob gets him.
Flashes there with a missing link, and they're doing the job. They're pushing them away, but still not enough. The Jet's going to go for the peak. Nets the frag on towards Zozzy. Begins to build up his portfolio, but how big is it going to grow? How much money is he going to make? As Imi, he's still sitting there ever so patiently as well. The push is going to begin to formulate. Max will tag onto his teammate, but gets one on towards Roma nonetheless. And Endpoint, they crush through CAZ. Going into what will be our 8th round now, and that is going to sting because you have to look towards the economy of CAZ. They have enough money to decide, okay, we can make a play here with 7,300, 4,000.
They could buy.
But it's that option, isn't it?
Yeah, MCK at 1.7k. Into the next round, you have 3.4 or so going into that one. So we will be on the FAMAS into the next round. Not ideal, especially with so many long angles on train. Then again, he's playing B, so might even go for that strike 7. He finds that better suited. Anyway, Max is just finding frag. Ozzy as well finds 1 dig. MCK gets a nice shot there. Can he find any more? Jess goes down as well. We're in a 2 versus 2. Loz is still alive with the open full utility, but both of these players are Ivy, so they are stacked up and they are grouped together. Which means that CAZ might actually have an idea of where they are, and they are rotating to exactly where the Endpoint players are funneling into, and this 5-7 at close range may deal so much damage. Both Roma gets caught. Let's see, Max battling with him, does win the duel. Plus a whiff the AWP shot. Not quite sure where he was shooting. Now the 1 versus 2. He knows where one player is. And lucky for him, they do not have rifles, but whiffs that shot. He has 4 utility. Smoke off the bomb, do something. Can't use utility. Good Molotov there will find them. Well, not find them, but flush them back a little bit. He sees the crosshairs, but doesn't want to shoot yet. He wants them to potentially think that he's rotated around, and that nade will not connect. We've already got MCK close connector. So when Lazar tries to plant this, it's going to be hard. Might fake it. Instead, he does decide to stick it, and now MCK can maybe get a connector. And actually, oh my goodness, MCK doesn't quite get the timing there. Lazar holding a good angle here. Might be able to catch Roma off guard and make this a 1 versus 1.
Roma just going to be peeking around the bomb train. Lazo looking to almost get himself wormed on through behind, just trying to catch off Roma off guard, but he has to hit that first shot, and the first shot is going to be the most important factor. But he misses it, and the punishing blow is going to be gifted by MCK, as the pistol is going to whip him right back in the cranium. And I've got to say, as much as I could see the game plan, there were some very crucial mistakes in the way he approached that. The Molotov that you were talking about, it went dead set into his own smoke. The placement and the actual effect of it forcing them away and stopping them from even thinking about pushing because they had pistols.
Yeah.
Things began to crumble, and I know the word is one of those, almost hated words per se, but that was a round that Endpoint they needed, because they could have really begun to hurt CAZ, but now you look at their economy.
I mean, they didn't have armor as well. That was a half buy.
It's back to that booming point.
It's the Deagle from MCK. Whenever I've cast MCK, it feels like his one-shot accuracy is so high. But Laza obviously under pressure here, and eventually as the games do go on in this best of 3 and the following tournament, the following playoffs even, I'm sure his nerves will calm and hopefully see him unfold. He is such a great player.
Endpoint got themselves yet again over towards the upper echelons off the B site.
They have 2B
set
now.
themselves up, and yeah, you certainly are right. The observation skill is going to be on fleek as they've got themselves on the ball with rotations. But he's going to get up for that first. Really able to get the tag on towards the second, which is a lot of value for him as he will eventually fall. He opens it up for his teammates, but MCK tries to flank him from behind, and the idea was ever so present, but the execution might able to get it done as Imi will punish up close and personal. Ozzy with just another on towards Ezio, living up to the name. But CAZ, they have a man advantage. That bomb is dropped relatively in the open. If CAZ can clock onto that and actually play around it, which Jacob will now have the information in his side, they can do so much with. As Ozzy just going to hold the angle, waits for the push, forces Laza to go aggressive with that AWP, and yes, he gets that first pick.
He's in the clutch again. Laza last alive for the second round running. Let's see if he can pull off this one. That's his only utility use. Does he find the frag? He doesn't. It's another whiff shot. Can he get the second try? No. Dream falls off the angle on Oil Train. He whiffs as well. This is so hard now. Laza knows there's an AWP holding it. Oh, manages to catch the angle. Trying to pre-fire him, but isn't quite lucky enough. Dream's all shoots, but Jacob's holding the angle. Endpoint, they're not playing with Laza. What? You smoke ramp. Fair play. You watch how Flipside play with their AWP world edit on Train. They don't smoke connector. They flash it instead. Once you have Laza holding that connector area, it's so hard on the retake. And you saw what Jacob could do. He was in and out of that lower ramp smoke, and it caused so much havoc for the T's. And Laza again in the clutch doesn't quite net himself or his team the round. Here comes the fast play from Endpoint side, but Dream with the first. These players are on full eco, only armor on Imi. So right now they're just trying to do economical damage, but unless there could be some more 1Ds coming from Jesp, as he does find one, but Roma pushing through the smoke. He's just throwing his life away. We're in a 2 versus 2, but no armor on Jesp. It's going to be Jacob to find Jesp. Imi last alive, and there's a difference between an AWP and a P250 no utility.
Yeah, big one on that, because one has a whole lot of firepower and the other can't really proliferate all that too well. And there you have it. Ozzy is going to clean him up, and certainly feel like it has to be said. CAZ, they began this entire path based on making pistols work against rifles, and that is pretty momentous in itself, because now they've equalized things. It's a 5-5 scoreline. Endpoint, yes, they're back on the buy as well, but look at their economy. They're buying all into this. This is all they've got. Whereas CAZ, now they're starting to really build up the stock lines.
I mean, you want to see, you know that Dream has been AWPing Green Train. You could potentially just flash the angle and have Laza hold that right side or left side and try and find a frag that way. That's one way to go about finding the frag towards Ivy, but enough about that. The push coming from Roma doesn't quite find the frag, but the quick trade from Jacob, and now they have control of the pop dog area. Actually, no, Jacob falls off. But there's Dream there holding the angle. And as long as Dream holds this angle, Jacob can rotate towards A. And when this T-push comes through, there shall be 3 players on the CT side. Problem is, you look at their positions, they're not really in the best spots right now. No one holding Ivy directly. Now that MCK's pushed towards outside pop dog, it's actually looking quite good now, because it means that Imi shall be tested.
One concern for Ozzy, though, is he has no fallback space. He has to move to the right or move to the left. There is no just duck behind cover. It's going to be him just trying to make it work and decides to actually move forward, goes to the peak, but he's being double-faced, and that is alone enough to seal it out, as Max is going to find the shot in return. But how far forward can he push? Goes to the pre-fire on towards Train. Now, that's smart, but yet again, there is no player playing towards that spot. They've fallen back in towards Connector. It will let Endpoint that bomb plant, which is yet again just another point on the tally for them. But that frag on towards Jacob begins to really whip it on down. CAZ, they had a chance. But now their firepower is running out, and they're all coming from one angle. It's going to be connector. The flashes go off, and yes, that is yet again helpful. But staying in the storyline is going to be ever so present. Dream goes to the smoke. Doesn't quite get anything, of course, as expected. MCK's got his work cut out for him.
Lazar peeking out from Green Dream, does find Dream. Maybe not expecting where he was. Now MCK, he's trying to jump around, see if he can take away any of these guns right now, because without the kit, it's looking very dire. We'll opt to go towards Ivy and save that.
The first pick on that retake as CAZ began.
Yeah, that pretty much shut the deal. With no backstab, it just meant that all those T players could just hold that one connector area. The problem again is, Dream has pushed B, yet he's not the one to rotate off. And this is a problem because you see what happens in the retakes. Imagine if you had Dream Heaven, Dream towards Green Train to fight Lazar, to fight the other players coming out of Pop Dog. You could have been seeing a very different round. Instead, it's Dream holding B, and he's on the late rotate. You don't want that. You want the rifles to be there for the retakes and have the AWP find the early frags. But Ezio jumping out to your main. Trying to see if he can find anything aggressively, but he's stuck at Olaf. This is a really great position because this might catch MCK off guard. Unless they know he's out here. Dream. Ezio surely must know there's something.
It's got to be a given at this point, but doesn't seem to be the case. Ezio just going to bide his time. MCK is going to get one. He's to worm his way through and has actual potential not only to get one hit, but get three. But he's only going to get the one so far. Looking now for the second, but he doesn't check the angles. Dream is able to find the reversal. And it's almost unfortunate to witness as Max goes to the reverse, just finds one of his own jets with just another. But Jacob back on the trade. That has been the staple mark of this entire matchup at this point. As we find ourselves sat back at a 2v2, the team's trying to rotate back through, and that gives Jacob a lot of information again to eat on into. Lazar with you up, looking to find a reapproachable spot. But this is scripted from Endpoint.
Yeah.
How's it gonna know?
He does have 4 utility, and it is only going to be a 2 versus. It is going to be the 2 versus 1 for Endpoint because Roma is alone on the side, but he has the flashbang. So once he knows they're beat, he can flash himself and try and peek that way. It's going to be Luz with the AWP. See how he plays it. Does have utility. We'll throw that flash towards connector, but Roma's in such a good position here to do it. But to be Jacob doesn't even find that frag. Flash is over. Can he reposition himself and find the kill here? Has the information now. Roma has rotated off B. But it's going to be Lazar. Does he hold the train? Does he know where Jacob is? Yes, he does, and he lands this one. Lazar finds the kill on Jacob. That could be it. Oh my goodness, Lazar's in the open, and Roma finds him. The problem is Jesp has all the information, and now he can play on the bomb site and weave in and out. Around. Use the time, but actually loses the battle. Oh, not quite too sure yet. Both of these players are low HP, but it will be Jesp to secure that one. I thought then after he whiffed the first initial spray, that could be it. Endpoint. They put it back and look at the money on CAZ as well. 2,000 on the majority of these players. We could be seeing the full eco come out this round and then the buy into the next one. Endpoint, as long as another eco does not get lost for them, we will be seeing them win their tier half. But then again, think about Thursday. I was about to say yesterday then. Think about Thursday. FM versus CAZ. FM had such a strong start on their T side. It was the CT side that let them down. So 5 rounds already on the board. Might not even be the end for them.
Not only the past, but you have to throw shade just to almost be ever so recent. Endpoint were in the exact same spot when they were beginning to build up the rounds. Then they made crucial mistakes against pistols. Don't repeat the same this time around. Get yourself really onto the higher echelons off that scoreline, and from there, that's where you can make that CT side, if it is patchy, at least more approachable in the grand scheme of things, because the more rounds you get on T, the less you have to collect on that CT side. That is a given as the bomb is going to tick on away, and it does feel like already that the call going over towards B has been much softer for them as a team. So
what do you mean by that?
Well, CAZ, they can't actually get close at all, so they're sitting comfortably.
Yeah.
Endpoint can pretty much sit back, do whatever they want, and there is no rough pistols trying to force their hand.
Yeah, at this point, it's going to try and get extra frags and try and take a few rifles at the Endpoint side. You know the rounds have been close. They've been 1 versus 1, so you know that Endpoint's money potentially could be low, and we shall see it in just a second as this round will end. 8-5. Endpoint have won the half. Only 3 rounds to go now. 2 rounds to go now. Apologies. Now it's 14. So, money on Endpoint's side, even if they do lose this one, they will be able to buy the next one. So they will have 4 buys leading in for the rest of the half. If Endpoint win this, we are probably looking at 10-5 and 10 rounds on a T-side train. That's pretty hard to lose at that point.
Well, Endpoint are really starting to discover the value in their rounds, which is the most important thing is here, because every round they get is just incremental value. For CAZ, of course, it's even bigger of a storyline for them, because their CT side is where you can struggle as a team on a whole. And CAZ, they have put up a solid fight here and there. They have had a couple of mistakes, but I think that's going to change of both of these teams, if I'm honest. It doesn't feel like either of the teams have been pitch perfect, and the pacing is a topic in itself because it feels like it has been well and truly all over the place.
It has been.
Already though, Endpoint are going to begin to set themselves up for what feels like what could be a split push on towards the A site, especially with all this utility now being expended through those windows. And here you go towards Pop Dog. The split is going to take full force. Jacob there to try and make it work. MCK of course through the smoke. These shots really landing just yet.
Saw Jake in this position only a couple of rounds before. Endpoint playing up the same smoke trap. It's worked for them previous rounds. Will it work again? Mighty Max trying to nail that player again, but it's going to be Dreamy finds to start this thing off. 4 versus 5. Emmy finds one as well onto Jacob. Right now it's going to be Endpoint looking so strong into this round. Lazar finds one as well. MCK towards the between trains. Lazar finds a second. And now it's MCK in the 1 versus 3. Sprays that one player, but it's going to be Lazar above the train. MCK, he knows this. Will he try to bait the trap? Jumps on top of the train. Battling. Lazar actually wins that, and now we might know where the last player is. Picks up the AWP. Ezio has no reason to face right now. But does give away his position. The problem is though, you look at the time on the board with no kit. I keep saying it. MCK and no kit. CAZ's money, they're constantly reset, they're constantly in the saves, and they don't have enough of the kits, and it's really affecting them right now.
It's a blunt end, but at the end of the day, it's still 9-5, and CAZ, it just didn't feel like they could get the shots at the start of the round, let alone the end of it when MCK was almost spread a bit too thin. But then when you're looking at the round and saying, okay, MCK got the most done even when he's been shut up against the wall, it does show flaws at the start, less alone the fact that he's able to do work on his own.
Yeah,
that's team play for me.
Yeah, it's true. Once again though, only one kit on Dream. So we could be repeating ourselves again. Bomb is going towards B this time. Roma playing towards them. The close ankle now with this MP. Let's see if he finds the first, lands it onto Emmy. It doesn't quite matter right now that it does get 600 for that, because this is the final round. Edgar pushing through, will he get the frag? Yes he will. Roma falls 1-for-1 trade, and the information and the time he's given his team to rotate in is valuable. The problem is though, Max and Lazar find the frags. As I mentioned before, what would happen if they didn't smoke off those angles? Lazar finds that frag.
It's by far been the strongest point for me in terms of Endpoint on their T side. They've always been able to turn one shot in terms of an initial pick, sorry. They've always been able to turn an initial pick into more frags, which is so valuable on a T side of train, right? Because it allows you to move forward.
So
didn't really make much sense, not gonna lie. I had a point in my head, it kind of faded into the distance somewhat there.
First game of the night, mate, don't worry, we've got plenty to come.
I looked up to the screen and saw a console and I was like, wait, what, the console's on the screen? And then realised it was a different screen. So, great moment. Either way, we're in the second half, enough about that.
Yeah, enough about that. So, leading into this one, we will be seeing the kit and HE grenade on Emmy. No smoke this time, quite a strange change. As you see players holding onto that smoke and go for that smoke defuse, having the Glock shoot into that smoke. Very difficult to land that frag, and very easy for the CTs to defuse that situation, but it's going to be the fast out Pop Dog. Question is, they're just trying to make noise now. They're expecting a player to be playing close towards Pop Dog, but luckily for them, or unluckily for them, there isn't. So that means the read is still good for Endpoint side. Got Ezio pushed up heaven. Will he find the frags? He's spotted out now. Roma needs to find this kill, but it's going to be Ezio to win that. That could be the round sealed and done instantly just based off that one frag. Unless magic happens from the CAZ side, but Lazar, Ezio, they will find frags. Aussie though, 1 versus 3, finds one. Bomb is down. If you can find time, find an early kill here. Was potential in the 1 versus 2, but it's going to be Mighty Max to nail him through his own head. He falls one. Not 1 versus 2. Was that the both pistols won now for Endpoint? I believe so. Yeah, it was. Obviously the crossfire A. Yeah, so yeah, both pistols won. That's major as well. You're thinking about this as CAZ's map pick.
That's momentum, isn't it, at the start of the half, which is, you know, one of the best things in Counter-Strike. You get yourself rolling nice and strong. You don't feel like you're in a situation where you're always fighting up against a tired, and from there, that's where you can, you know, start converting the rounds. We've always talked about Endpoint. Something I was trying to highlight on at the fast, albeit a little bit failing, and it was that Endpoint are able to connect those first shots. When they get that pick from there, they're then able to push them on forwards and almost strangulate CAZ, because they're left kind of going, well, we've got nothing to do here. Where do we?
It's not just that; it's the trades as well. You've been seeing the trade game from Endpoint been so strong. Even though Roma found the first frag at that previous round, it was Ezio there to trade, and following on through that, Aussie was finding frags, but they're always traded. That was the final gun round of the half, and now we're into the force buy of the second. Mollies and utility shall be thrown. Molotov goes back behind side. I actually quite like that Molotov, I don't see that too often. The problem is though, it's Ezio right now to test these players as he sprays that one. Can he get any more? No, he can't, because Aussie finds him. Mighty Max slamming through the smoke. Damages Aussie to 1 HP. MCK trying to get close, trying to take off map control off of the CTs. The problem is though, they've lost so many players, and the HP as well. But Max jumps on top of that train, and MCK finds him. Lazar now. Will he win the duel? MCK finds as well. finds his way into connector.
This is so smart from MCK though, because he's not refacing. Look at him sitting in connector. Lazar, he's nervous. He's feeling the thorn in the side. He doesn't know quite where to go. Finally realizes I have to push for my team, but MCK, he's going to be there ready. I'm waiting. The flash is going to go off, but I'm still waiting for MCK. How is he going to play into this round? As the smoke is going to go onto the bomb. He has to go up the pace a little bit, but Jess has no idea that he's there. The pack can go off, but he's missing the shot. MCK, we hype you up and you make a mistake because you can't quite hit him.
There wasn't too much he could do there. His teammates fell so early. Obviously,
could have been a bit faster. Where are the running shoes, mate?
Obviously on 1 HP, there's not really too much he can do there. MCK tried to make the play. The problem is though, in that position with the bombs planted, there isn't too much he can do for his team. Bomb does go down, which means we shall be seeing some utility into the first buy round. CAZ at 5, 12, Endpoint at 12. If Endpoint take the next gun round, we are going to be seeing 14-5, and that could just be the final nail in the coffin. CAZ mentally going to have to reset, leading into the second map, unless they can pull back an incredible comeback. But you don't see that too often.
Jeff is going to find the first, let alone potentially even the second, as he tags on towards.
It's a flash.
A flash is, yeah, it's going to get popped. Not quite sure what the value of it is, but hey ho, why not?
Shout out Lazar.
Yeah, certainly seen some, yet again, interesting plays. Certainly one way.
I mean, at least they're playing as a team.
Yeah, I think that's always the positive point. I don't care if a team is, coming up with some wacky execute that gets nothing done. If they're doing it as a team, it's progress. There's Yo. He's going to find himself a pick. Jacob, a bit more flashy with the deagle, but value still only somewhat limited. There's only one pick for a team side. Doesn't open up a side completely, and well, especially with Jess just playing for a far. Roma, there you go. That's the pick they're looking for. Get himself the second, and well, the problem was the time between that first and second. Now when the rotations to come in, and
yeah,
I mean, good luck getting close to a site. Unless these Eagles can just tap on away, which, judging by Max giving away his position, makes me almost feel like I'm about to be eating my words. But for now, it's just going to be a slow starter. 30 seconds on the clock, of course. The CAZ not really going to be feeling like they have to rush very, very soon.
The CTs do not know where the bomb is. But the thing is, they have got the read. Roma falls, and now it's going to be Jacob. Last life, he does end up dying, and we're going to be seeing 13-5 now into this round. The money is, actually not too strong on the Endpoint side. We saw how many players died. It was the 1 versus 2 in that situation when they had to defuse the bomb. Went CAZ force ball, and actually that force buy really, really paying off for them because there's no AWP on Lazar. It's going to be an SNG, the UMP on Imi, kits and Molotovs, and utility though on Endpoint side. Just no AWP, and the AWP is very strong on CT side train.
So at least a bit of a disappointing factor, but we have the positives. CAZ was trying to make a comeback happen. Got a widespread attack. I think all involves pretty much taking control of various portions of the map. Ivy being certainly a target they were originally gunning for, but they've decided to leave Ozzy there alone, pitch a tent, see what he can get done, and well, Jacob is coming back to support him a little more, so clearly CAZ having a rough idea on how they want to approach this in terms of a default, but they haven't really gained too much information because Endpoint, now they're just not peeking, they're just setting up in these crossfires, something that was ever apparent right from the get-go on their CT side, and they're just being patient. Now I like this.
Yeah, right now with no AWP, they're going to opt in to play nice and passive. Don't give away your frag to the other AWP on the T side. Dream is given no opportunities so far, no openings. Talk about the setup as well. Lazar playing towards green train, well, most likely to be AWPing there. We see a lot of AWPers play there. It's usually connector or green train, or some players like to switch it up. Depends on how dynamic they are. Lazar, not the most dynamic AWPer, more of a cement block on your CT side. He will hold that angle, he will get those frags, he'll fall back and get them as they come. He's not really one to play too aggressive, and with Jess on the lineup, it does work. One thing that does work as well is Emmy pushing through that smoke and catching MCK off guard. He gets a second through the smoke as well. Roma falls. We're in a 5 versus 3 already.
The fact that Emmy's just being able to get so much from that position is absolutely great, but Dream is going to come in, and you have to look at that clock, the T side. They have to get a move on it. It's MCK 2.0 at this point. This Dream is going to look to roll around.
Oh no.
They catch up Max. They still have 10 seconds to play with, and 10 seconds is a whole lot of time, but Ozzy,
yeah, that's it.
Just not quite close enough. And Endpoint, they're going to get to 14, and what is a very close round. And Emmy, well, impact through the smokes to pick Tremezio and Lazar as well. Very, very critical in themselves, but timing proving to be the weak point overall.
When I last casted Endpoint, it was about 3 weeks ago, and they looked very, very different compared to what I'm looking at right now. Team-wise, they're playing together, they're playing with the flashes. That could be the implementation of Jess. I mentioned before that he is, not only does he bring aggression, strong aim, strong clutching as well, but communication. He is Swedish, obviously, maybe it's just in his blood, who knows. Anyway, going into this round will be the fourth spike coming from CAZ. Early frag there from Jess, man of the hour. MCK finds a frag there onto Mighty Max. We are looking at 4 versus 4.
rifles are. They're going to try and make it up close and personal there to catch a quick shot on towards JK Mozzie with just another in return. So certainly a backwards and forward swing. You talk about the trades, but the T side, they're making it work with the rifle. I think you're going to throw a wrench in the works as Ezio tries to respond, but MCK lands the final and ever so needed headshot in that constant bloodbath, and eventually gets that final hit, which is what they need around back in play. Because look at the economy of Endpoint. This isn't a flourishing CT side where they can go, you know what, we've lost a round, we'll just rebuy and open 5 rifles.
Yeah, they've won.
Not
It's still going to be the Galil. Not sure about decent utility, obviously, some Molotovs here and there, but there's the flashes that are really important. Train flashing off those angles, especially versus the pistols. Then again, the Molotovs as well. Pretty damn important. One thing to touch on as well is the performance of Dream in this game. We saw yesterday versus FM, he was 15-2. Right now, he's 7-4, something in the double digits. I think it was 7-for-14 or something like that. Very stark contrast. But anyway, MCK towards Popdog, trying to see if he can find him some team. A frag here, but Imi playing close. Woo! That's a nice shot there. Woo! Imi falls as well. Going to be seeing 5 alive for CAZ.
Certainly want to wake up on your T side, and that's one way to make it happen. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, Snaz, because as much as I love myself a good comeback story, it's 14-7.
Right.
Kind of want to see just another buy coming out from Endpoint before.
To me, if there's any chance of this actually happening, CAZ are going to have to reset Endpoint once again. This shall be potentially, obviously, Endpoint on the pistols. We hope 14-8 for CAZ. Actually, are they on the double save? I didn't look at the money.
We didn't get to check the money.
Observer, can we take a look at the scoreboard for a second?
There we go.
So yeah, they will be buying to the next one. It's not double save. So 8-14. Once it gets to that position, if CAZ can win that gun round and make it 9-14 and then reset Endpoint again, then I'm a believer. If it goes to 10-14 and the money is in favor of CAZ, then I'll believe you. But right now,
I mean, Jeff, you tried. I love the boost.
Yeah,
but I mean,
it's something.
It's something that ends up being pretty much nothing. As Ezio is going to be over towards Connector. I mean, for Lazar getting that rifle, that's really what is something in this round.
You just call him loser.
Lazar.
I'm joking.
It's going to be like, what? It has happened before.
Some do call him loser.
Yeah, I can't think.
For clarification, if you're watching this, it is Lazar. No, it's not Fearless. I know HLTV may say otherwise.
I think it may have been at LAN, actually, that someone called him loser.
I'm
trying to think now. There was a big moment about it, but it's right there.
Here. Oh, actually.
I mean, that was a positive moment. We talk about it.
Losing the AK. Losing out that duel. 30,000 AK kills. Not quite enough to win that one. 14-8 now. That's going to be the buy coming up for Endpoint. The AWP is dropped over. Jess still has decent utility, but no kit. We'll be seeing 1 kill on Ezio. We saw what happened on the CT side of CAZ. We only had 1 kit. Did not pay very well for them. Anyway now, Luz with the AWP. Let's see how he plays it. Will he play passive, play towards Green Train, or will we see some aggression towards Ivy, or maybe some aggression towards teammate? The flash has come out. Luz is blind. Roman has crossed, but he's holding that angle, which Dream... We saw him play yesterday. He just holds this for ages, expecting a player to go on top of Brown Train. There it is. Unfortunately for him, I don't think Max is going to go Brown Train anytime soon. So right now, with our 2020, through the wall vision, we know that right now Dream isn't really getting too much out of his AWP. The question is, what do CAZ want? Do they want the passive AWP where he holds ankles, he locks off parts of the map, and they wait for the execute to come out, or do they want an aggressive AWP to make openings for them? Really just depends on how they're going to play their T side. MCK though. I mentioned openings. We saw him play so well versus FM at getting these double entries. Can he do it again versus Endpoint? Ezio about to walk into the crosshair. MCK, does he find him? Yes, he does. The spray comes out, but nothing's quite connected just yet. And this might change the setup from the CT side. You already see Jesp slowly rotating closer and closer to B. As I say that, he goes back towards Ivy. We'll take a look at what he's doing. Does he know that Ozzy is currently in Ivy?
I think for CAZ at this point, it comes down to just almost making a decision of when do they finally want to bite on that hook and just
Flash comes
try and
out.
make it work.
He flashes, he peeks, he sees nothing. And now we might see one of these players. Yep, that's it. Number 7, that is Mighty Max, has gone towards B. Now we're going to see 3 players on the CT side for this CAZ take. Oh, I take my words back again. No, I don't. Mighty Max is here.
Look at Ezio's position, though. He's still sitting there. He's wormed on through, and he's able just to sit tight, gets himself the first and the second. Eventually will be dropped by MCK. But still a double kill, and able to see the push on through. Max making a bit of a blunder, but still gets a pick for himself, and even though he will fall, buys more time for his team.
3 seconds. Wow. It's like I was watching SK from yesterday.
Well, it feels like CAZ have a lot of hope in terms of some of the rounds they approach, but they always fall through down to the simplest of things. It's like they've got the advanced stuff on point. It actually works for them when they try and go for something that's out there.
Yeah.
But when they try and just do simple Counter-Strike, they always seem to fall short to something like time, or
I'm
just
just
something
trying to
like
think.
a player in the wrong position.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think about positions and time and whatnot. Is Dream giving the communication to his team like, give me time to work a pick?
Well,
Or do they want the clock to go down? Are they expecting aggression from Endpoint? I mean, in my eyes, Endpoint's one of the most passive teams in this tournament. I mean, out of the 4 that here, I would say they're the most passive. I don't think a slow default is going to work too well versus Endpoint. Anyway, Jacob is pushed up towards Olaf. Will he find the frag onto Lazar with the AWP onto the green? I don't think Lazar's watching this. Whips the shot, and yes, he will fall. Jacob gets the first. Will he get any more? Nope. Instantly tried out by Jess Blair. Max as well. Max finds 2, but through the smoke, he shall be traded.
Almost left unsurprising, or left unsurprised at this point, should I say, on towards Endpoint, because yet again, it's the same old move point. Trades for them, they transferred it from their T side onto their CT side. MCK, he is the last man remaining. He's in a 1v3 and he's playing for the first map, as he will at least try and push on forward, trying to get the jump on towards Imi, which in fairness to him, he will have. But what's he going to do from that? 4 HP, the Dink
GG.
is going to do it. 16-8 will be the scoreline. And that is a result of the first. Now, we mentioned it right from the get-go. The first, it does set the pace of the BO3. Some teams, their mentality can change. Some teams, it does transfer.